Logan, I'm Tim from Flint, and we're joined again by Adam Gerics, who has had a pretty interesting personal development in his life since we last spoke about 2 weeks ago, I believe. You reached out to me about that, and there's some curious details to the story he's about to share with us, so I thought we'd reconvene and he could share that at this time. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for talking with me.
Absolutely.
I actually expected to be at the debate last week. What is it, St. Mike's or whatever?
Yep.
On the 13th, and then there was one on the 15th. But I found out in the mail with a postcard that there was a warrant issued for my arrest. And I didn't feel like I could show up anywhere publicly until I dealt with it because it seemed like a setup to me. I mean, I don't think they expected me to know about it right away and deal with it soon enough. You know, so maybe they expected me to show up at City Hall or at the debate and then just snatch me up.
So the warrant, though, it stems from something that happened a couple years ago, correct?
Yes. If anybody is familiar with my history, there's an article in the Flint Journal MLive. ACLU chimed in on it. I was arrested September 27th, 2013 for breach of peace. There's a video out there. I've been in a lawsuit against first the city, and then we dropped that because of government immunity in circuit court, and then picked it up in federal court beginning of August. So, you know, our complaint in the federal court was only maybe 30 to 40 days old, and then, like, out of the blue, I get a case filed against me September 30th of this year, 2 years later, for resisting arrest and obstruction, possession, and transferring to an inmate.
All supposedly stemming from that initial arrest.
From that date. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, supposedly from that date of 2013, September 27th. But they waited 2 years for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure.
It looked like that came from David Layton's office, I believe. He was the prosecutor listed.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to say State of Michigan, and it's going to go through the local prosecutor. But I got no problem saying that when my attorney on the civil rights case called Pete Bade's office to ask what this was about, it was inferred that they would think about dropping the charges against me if I would drop the civil rights case.
Before we go any further, tell me a little bit more about the specifics of the civil rights case, if you can get into that.
Sure. Well, if you watch the video on September 27, 2013, a couple of guys are down the street from me. One was my neighbor, this guy Tim Monahan, and the other one I was pretty sure was a cop, so I grabbed my camera, and it looked like a setup to me, so I just started filming what was going on. And they're walking around the Flint Public Art Project properties down the street from me, like they're going to do some contract work or something. Then they wander up to in front of my house, which I'm at a house I'm living in, and I own the house across the street from me. As they walk up to that house, I say, you know, you need to get your facts straight. I got the deed to that place, and by the way, who the fuck are you anyway? In front of my property, and then boom, he runs up and you're under arrest for breach of peace. And I say, well, you're a cop here to mess with me? And he says, yes, I am. And then I sit in jail for 72 hours, and then I was released, and I got a ticket. No court appearance, no other charges, nothing.
Until September 30th of this year.
Right.
Why do you think 2 years after the fact you're getting these new, and were any of those felony charges? 2
of them are felony.
Why do you think you picked up these 3 new counts all this time later?
I think because I'm not tooting my own horn, but I've been a pretty effective activist as far as bringing information to the table, and I spent the whole summer at city council meetings pointing out a lot of things that they need to deal with, in particular Incompatible Public Offices Act, 566, I think of 1978, that this city council is not unfamiliar with. Johnny Coleman, Bernard Lawler, now the members of the KWA board, the Karagandhi Water Authority board. They're all in violation of it. They all know it. And, I mean, I can't think of any other reason other than I've been hammering these issues. So, you know.
You were down at the Genesee County Jail today, is that correct? Turned yourself in?
I went to 68 District Court, yep, and turned myself in, and I got a trial started, because of course I'm not guilty, so I'm going to plead not guilty, and since I turned myself in on my own recognizance, I was given a personal bond of $7,500 per charge, and I think my pre-trial hearing is next Tuesday, and then it will go from there. I get a public defender because I'm poor, and then we'll see what they produce, because there's no evidence. I didn't do anything, So, I mean, frankly, I think it's just a way to try to leverage me from suing any further in the civil rights case, and make my life a little bit harder, so I can't do things like go to these public debates. And I challenged the mayor to a debate at the Flint Public Library 2 days from now, which I doubt he'll show up, but he did in video when I caught him in front of City Hall, said he would, and he's very aware of it. So I mean, I think it was just a way for them to make my life miserable and try to have leverage against me. And in the end, they're going to end up wasting a lot of time and money, because, I mean, the video proof is there. There's witnesses that were there, and if I obstructed or assaulted a police officer at the city jail, then I should have had some sort of physical damage, or some cop should. There's no evidence. There's nothing. They have nothing on me. This is purely for leverage against me and to make my life miserable.
Well, I tell you, the timing is definitely curious. That's what
2 weeks before the election, damn
well,
right.
and 2 years after the initial arrest.
Right.
So I don't understand why they wouldn't have brought those charges against you a little bit sooner.
You'd expect it would have been that day, or at least those 3 days they had me in. It would have at least.
I would imagine so. It's something I'll reach out to the city and the prosecutor on, and hopefully they'll grant a request if I ask to speak with them about it. I do appreciate you talking to us and letting us know about what you have going on, because there are some curious trials that I've been made aware of in recent times, and it's something I hope to dig in more. So again, thank you for your time, Adam. Keep us posted on everything that's going on.
I will.
We'll reconvene soon,
Certainly.
and we'll keep bringing you the story. Thanks.
Right in, Adam Gerics.